What up, it's your man Aaron Sands, and welcome to King Talk Season 4. Let's get it.
This the star Roddy Rod, and you are now listening to King.
King Talk, King Talk. Yeah, that's me. What up, it's your man Aaron Sands. We are back with another one. You already know the vibes. If it's Fridays, then it's King Talk. And we are back for Season 4. Fucking yes. I'm excited. It's all outdoors to get started on this brand new season of King Talk. I want to welcome you guys to another episode, another season, brand new season, brand new me, and hopefully a brand new you. How's everybody doing? Hope your week went well. And if your week didn't go well, maybe it's time to put one in the air. Maybe it's time to light one. Maybe it's time to, pour some drinks out, pour a little bit of drink out real quick. Either way, I need y'all to put y'all motherfucking fours in the air for season 4 of King Talk. And honestly, I'm so astounded by the sheer fact that we're doing this for another season. You know what I'm saying? Like initially, I know I was a little, and I've been feeling like this for the past couple of seasons. And I opened up about this during season 3, especially, where I was on the fence of doing a season 4. You know what I'm saying? I mean, granted, we were doing pretty consistent. We were hitting number 1 a lot on Good Pods. Shout out to Good Pods for bigging us up real quick, whether it's on Premier Boys Podcast and or King Talk, This Legitimate Lifestyle Podcast. I don't know if y'all seen the articles for that, but those are going crazy. Make sure you get a chance to go to check it out when you ain't got nothing to do. But do that after this episode first, and you'll see why they call us the charismatic Aaron Sands, along with the rest of the mighty Premier Boys. Speaking of Premier Boys, after the end of season 4, especially, I mean, really much during, but it really peaked for me like towards the tail end of season 4, season I think it was season 3. I'm sorry, I could be wrong. Season 3 or 4, but towards the end of last season, I would say. I was for the most part inspired, because with us being more consistent during the season and giving you guys what you want, you know what I'm saying, more consistent episodes, everything like that, banging topics, great content. As I'm working with the bros on this shit, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, well, damn, if we could achieve this success together, right? And if I was able to achieve my own success with season 3, why not go for it for season 4? And that's exactly what I intend to do. Definitely going to come up. We definitely got some new themes coming up this season. We definitely talking about some thought-provoking topics. We definitely packing some people the fuck up, which I will do later this episode. So stay tuned for that. And we really go to talk about some life lessons, man, that could hopefully, you could take with you through your day, you know what I'm saying, or even through your life, you know what I'm saying. I got a lot of people hitting me up talking about, get job at season 3. Your advice really helped me get myself together and do what I gotta do. And I'm internally grateful for that, because honestly, my intent is to be able to at least help one person. And if I'm able to do that, then that would be amazing, But damn, I didn't know a lot of people were impacted in a positive way with my podcast. And I'm glad to see it. You love to see change being made, and you also love to see that you're making it. You know what I'm saying? So, big deal. I thank y'all. I love y'all for listening. And let's get into the first topic of season 4. And this one's hit close to my heart, because I'm a city boy. as y'all know. And and honestly, it hurt my heart when I had to leave. You know, it wasn't like I had to. I could have stayed. You know what I'm saying? I could have really stayed and just rock and just roll it out. You know, but honestly, I wanted a new experience, and plus, rents was getting crazy high. So a lot of that came down to a lot of that played a factor in me eventually leaving the city. You know what I'm saying? Find greener pastures elsewhere in the burbs. You know what I'm saying? I don't regret it because a lot of things changed, with myself when I left. But I grew. Hell, I grew between now and the season. I'm a married man now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bay. Shout out to Not. You know what I'm saying? We get into it, trying to build the family up and trying to build the rest of our lives out. You know what I'm saying? And I love it. And I think that wouldn't have been possible had I stayed in the city. Right? So, it's a big deal for me. But another reason why I left New York City is because the rents are so fucking high. Holy shit. And it has got higher over the course of the past few years. And now apparently it's at the point now where it's at the highest in the damn near in the world. You know what I'm saying? And I came across an article from CNBC that displays just that. So they say, according to CNBC, the average Manhattan rent just hit a new record of $5,588 a month. Right? And that's actually up 9% over last year. Median rent is like $4,400 a month. And CNBC got this information from a report from Miller Samuel and Douglas Elliman, who are like real estate, major real estate players in the city. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, at this point, it's the fourth time in 5 months that Manhattan rents hit like a whole record. They were also mentioning for a family that wanted to get like a 3-bedroom in Manhattan, you got to pay about over $10,000 a month. So even your baby's got to work. You feel me? For you to actually meet those to make rent, honestly. And I see this, and I'm like, you know what? I'm legit glad I left. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about it, you see Manhattan rents going up this high, right? Don't be surprised that Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx isn't going to raise as well. And the crazy part about it is I thought about coming back to the city. You know what I'm saying? Thought about living uptown real quick and then seeing what's what, because, like I said before, I'm a city boy at heart. That's just me. And on top of that, I work in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like my day job is like literally in the city. And honestly, the money you make in there, you're not gonna make in the burbs. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna make it in Jersey. You know what I'm saying? So when you see that, it's like, all right, bet you could work there, right? You could even play there. You know what I'm saying? Nightlife there is insane. You know what I'm saying? To an extent. But living though, it's tough. It's tough as all outdoors. I remember when I got my first place, right? It was before I moved. Got my first place. It was short-lived. And it was a room. Sister hooked me up. Shout out to the big sis. She hooked me up. Got me a little space, because I didn't want to be home. And I stayed for a little bit, rocked out there for like about a month or two. You know what I'm saying? Rent was about like $400, $400 or $500 a month. It was a room. That same room right now. I checked in to see what that was about. They were like, nah, that room going for like $1,450. Mind you, this is in the Bronx. In the Bronx, Fordham Road. I'll let y'all picture that real quick. In the Bronx, Fordham Road. That's deep as hell. Ain't no way I'm paying $1,400 in the Bronx for there's no way. So what I try to tell people, and I'm just gonna get into this before I get into the pack it up section. My word of advice is this: one, explore the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? Don't go out too far because next thing you know, it doesn't make sense to come into the city unless you plan on working from home, which might be a thing. Check out Jersey because even though the taxes, the property taxes are pretty high, you know, you're not paying as much as you would. You know what I'm saying? Or just move out the state altogether. You know what I'm saying? Just go south. Now you might not make more money, but hey, you know what I'm saying? You're not what you're paying for in rent. You're pretty much not only paying for like in your mortgage, but probably in your mom's mortgage too. So yeah, rent is too damn high. Ain't shit changed in the city. You know, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? You like the city, you gotta pay to live in it. You gotta pay to move in it. So that's just what it is. Moving on. You already know what we doing. It was a hit when we did it for Premier Boys podcast. I did it for King Talk at one point. I think it's season 3. You know what I'm saying? Early season 3. And we gonna do it for season 4. It's time to pack it the fuck up. It's time to pack somebody up. Bring back the U-Haul truck. Brought it for Premier Boys for the homie long-lived Chief Molly Mal. We gonna bring it back for King Talk. Now, originally on the Premier Boys podcast, I said I was going to pack up Jennifer Aniston because it got the second place vote in the Premier Boys Pack It Up poll. And I accepted for that. I did. But then something came across my desk that drove me wild this morning, and I can't not talk about it. I gotta talk about it. So Brittany Renner gotta come up here and bring up that U-Haul box, put that weird ass pussy in there and pack it up. I'm gonna tell you why. So I did a video, right? And apparently Brittany Renner and Charleston White is a guest on this podcast called The Danza Project. Shout out to them boys over there. Apparently they're making really good content. It's the first I heard of them, but you know, from what I've seen, it seemed like they got a pretty good production. It seemed like they know what they're doing. You know, got a pretty good following, so shout out to them, right? Bro, when one of the hosts asked Brittany about how they felt about PJ Washington getting a new deal from the Hornets, which was like 3 years, $48 million. You know, keep in mind, guys, PJ Washington is the baby father of Brittany Renner's baby, right? So initially, she filed for child support. That's when that whole story came out when they said that he allegedly had to pay like a large sum of money for child support, and come to find out that wasn't true. She found out that he's getting this new deal, which is going to be upwards of damn near $50 million, right? So when they asked her that, at first, it seemed like a civil conversation. And then out of nowhere, shit just went left. It went left and then it went off the fucking rails. You feel me? So basically, she talked about how she was happy for him getting a new deal, you know? And then she got into a diatribe about how when she gave birth to this dude's baby, that, you know, that she had a tear in her vagina. You feel me? When she gave birth, you know, apparently the baby, you know, it was a pretty big baby. Baby head was big as shit. So he had a 2nd degree tear, which is, you know, it was kind of ripped. You kind of ripped out a new one. You know what I'm saying? Why was it TMI? You're damn right it was. Nobody needs to know that shit. But she shared it, you know, and that's what it was. And apparently, she might have been, you know, during the podcast. You know, with these podcasts, you bring ladies on, you get them to, you know, you have them drink up a little bit, you know, things like that. And then you just let the shit play out, you know? And apparently they let that shit play out. She was out here wilding, acting a plum fucking fool, throwing water bottles. She threw a water bottle, right? Full of water in it at a man by the name of Shannon Briggs. Now, for those who don't know, Shannon Briggs is a former world heavyweight boxer, former champion, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Former heavyweight champion of the world, right? I've seen videos of this man knocking niggas' helmets off, knocking niggas' heads clean off their shoulder, right? So you know what he's capable of, right? So in this drunken state, Brittany thought it was a good idea to hit this man, or damn near hit this man with a water bottle, right? Because she's upset that she feels that no one's listening to her. Now, mind you, I will remind you that she's intoxicated, right? And when you're intoxicated, you do a lot of dumb shit, right? I'll give you a story. Story time with Aaron Sands. We are back at that again. Season 4, we are back with story time with Aaron Sands. I love it. So, I have friends, right? And I got a lot of homegirls, right? Love them to death. Love them to pieces. When I was out promoting, when I'm out here doing my promoter shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing with the clubs and everything like that. Out here getting money, you do have those situations when there's a little bit too much, drink in the system, people tend to get crazy. Hell, happened to me. You know what I'm saying? So basically, me and my friends, we in the spot, we turning up, we celebrating and everything like that. Successful week, successful night out, we getting money and everything like that. Okay, we turning up. So we getting bottles, we having fun, we're enjoying life, right? And apparently, some of the ladies in the section getting a little too drunk. Then they start wilding. They start, going crazy, twerking on couches and shit. Which is entertaining, it's all outdoors. Don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get mad at a shorty just twerking all over the place, knocking drinks over and shit. Especially if she got kicked. But it's a problem when you get kicked out and now you outside and you're doing a lot of wild racket shit. So we see this, and one of my homegirls, she decided to start going crazy, trying to start to fight us and everything like that. Here's another thing. Why do you think, right, in your heart of hearts, in your drunken state, maybe it's because you're drunk, maybe you got that Popeye, you feel like you got that Popeye spinach energy, you feel me? But why is it, right? Do you ladies feel, right, that, you could fight, try to pull up on a dude? You know what I'm saying? Especially in that state. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I don't hit women. It's not my thing, not my cup of tea. I know for a fact if I hit a shorty at full strength, I'm at least knocking it out, like I'm taking out an orbital bone. You know what I'm saying? Giving out concussions and shit. And honestly, it's not the manly thing to do, to engage in that type of activity with a lady. Now if it's a dude, it's all different. We shoot my shit. I'm shooting my shit. You feel me? But I can't do that there because of my respect that I have for the opposite sex, right? And plus, it's not the manly thing to do. So I had to walk away from that shit. And ladies hitting me on my back and shit. Fuck you, bro. I'm like, nah. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm on the Uber. Hopped in the Uber, went home, took a whole nap. Now, could have had went left and, and got crazy, and I could have knocked shorty head off her shoulders. Oh yeah, that's not a problem. But, I could tell you exactly what would have happened after that. And honestly, the same thing would have happened with Shannon Briggs had he knocked Brittany Renner's head off. And when it went on, they would have been like, "Oh shit, you hit me, I'm calling the cops." So now you would have the cops to deal with. You would end up getting a lawsuit. Probably would have been on Instagram talking about men should not hit women. Oh my god! And then you probably would have sat there on the low end, got canceled, or the high end fighting charges. So it's admirable for Shannon Briggs to see that shit and see that situation and knew how to maneuver, because let it be one of these young dudes who don't know no better. Yeah, her helmet would have easily got knocked off, you know? And when you see stuff like that, you see people wilding out like that in a situation like a podcast, you gotta know how you kind of gotta move with that too, because when you think about it, how can I put this? When you think about it, you gotta look at it like if it's a good idea. Like, I know my people, right? If I had a podcast in my house, right? All the Premier Boys podcasts show up. Got some of our homegirls popping up here too. I got Patron, Goose, and fucking, 1800 on the table. Hey, drink up, everybody get lit. And everybody getting lit. And then I pull the mics out. Pull the mixers out, pull the computers out. And now we recording. I hit record. And we just talking shit as we all sipping or whatever like that. And then shit get crazy. One of two things is gonna happen with that episode, right? Either we get insanely popular and we reach heights that we never imagined, because it happens. Everybody knows. You get some girls on a podcast. You get them nice, and then you just watch the fireworks go off, right? And either you could get extremely successful from that, or you could get rapidly canceled. You know what I'm saying? The choice is yours. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they don't get canceled on that. But at the same time, you got to look at image as a thing too. Because we're going to get more into that at the main event topic. Image is everything. You know what I'm saying? How you present yourself in certain spaces, how you maneuver in certain rooms. That shit is everything. And a lot of people, especially with this generation, they don't think that is nothing. And I regret to inform you, image is damn near everything. Everybody's talking about building brands, but nobody understands how much that image for your brand is so important. That shit could literally mean life or death for your shit. You understand? So, yeah, that's really a thing. And with Brittany Renner, you hear a lot of you hear a lot of wild shit when it comes down to her. So when you think about it, it's like, her performance on the podcast looked fucked up. But at the same time, at this point, are you really surprised? You already built that image of you being a shit. So unless, over the course of maybe a year and change or whatever, that you just really being on some solid shit, we gonna think that you gonna pull up on a podcast and be rapping shit. Keep in mind, Charleston White was on the same podcast. He was on the same exact podcast, and he's known for saying some wild shit. You understand? He's known for saying some wild shit. So it's like, you mean it? So he's looking at this shit probably like this, like, damn, you mean to tell me that we about to go viral because this shorty over here next to me is wilding, twerking on me or whatever like that, and I ain't gotta say nothing crazy? Yo, this is great. My job easy. You know what I'm saying? So you looking at it from his perspective, he's looking at it like he don't gotta do the necessary work that he normally do when he hop on these podcasts and just say some wild shit for shock value and everybody cover it. The guys that's running the pod, they're looking at this shit like, hey, we gave her a lick and we let the fireworks explode. This is great content for us. We finna go viral. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be a movie. The only person where this shit looks crazy, right, is her. Because when you look at it, you already have a bad image. So now you just gonna you double tripling down on that shit. You know what I'm saying? You double tripling down on that. So for you doubling tripling down on that bullshit and think that shit gonna fly because you just happen to be nice off some shit, you happen to be nice off the drink, For you thinking that shit was a good fucking idea, I'm gonna need Brittany Renner to get the kid, get the checks that you felt like you were gonna get from old boy, get that tore up box, and put all of that in a 20 by 20 by 20 box and pack that shit the fuck up. Niggas ain't trying to hear that shit. Niggas don't care about the tear. Niggas don't give a fuck about the teared up vagina, bro. Niggas don't give a fuck that, your baby father moved on. You feel me? And we know you ain't gonna change to be on some like solid shit. So let's be on some ratchet shit. So that way I can keep talking about it. You feel me? Like, let's do that. Because shit, listen. All I'm gonna say is this. That little kid, let me tell you right now, he gonna grow up. He gonna see all this shit. And he's gonna have to go to school. Right? And a lot of people say, oh, the kids ain't gonna remember it. Alright, yeah, fine, the kids ain't gonna remember it until his classmates remind him. And then he sees his mom wilding because his classmates are sharing videos. Because everybody got phones in school now. So the classmates sharing videos of your mom wilding and twerking and shit like that. You ain't gonna be able to do the dozens with those kids. You ain't gonna be able to snap back. You're gonna have one or two options. One, walk away and like it, or two, learn karate or some shit and shoot the 5 with them kids every day. And that's a shot to the OnlyFans crowd too. You thought you got kids and shit, and you think that's gonna, that's gonna translate into something. You think your kids ain't gonna suffer from that? I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of kids that's that's deleting themselves because their moms are OnlyFans and they can't take the bullying from other kids. Because you think 2023 people getting more sensitive, people are going to be more sensitive in school? Hell no, these kids are more wild than before. And they got social media on their side, so it's not like the shit's over when you go home. You know what I'm saying? You go home, you got to go see that shit on your apps, on the social media apps. So, it is what it is, man. It's fucked up. But, hope the nigga fight. Or if not, take some Tiger Showman or some shit. Something. But, like the pod while we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like the pod while we're here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Season 4 premiere, we outside. We get into it. And honestly, right now, it is time for the main event. Main event topic. You see the title. You see the picture. See that sad ass picture I post. Nobody wins when the family feuds, man. Now, before I get into this topic, I want to, quick disclaimer. While we talked about it, already came back as false, but there's a lane that I want to go to here that I want to touch on. We're talking about image in this episode. Let's talk about Brittany Renner's track as image and why it's like that. We're talking about image, right? So over the course of the past couple of days, people were talking about your boy Steve Harvey and his wife Marjorie. And apparently there was a rumor that was out by some YouTuber that she was apparently sleeping with not only the bodyguard but also the chef. Next thing you know, you're gonna say it's the butler. The butler did it probably. But yeah, so that was out. People were talking about that, and then Steve Harvey came out at InvestFest. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure, and came out and said that everything was fine, right? And a lot of like that whole situation was debunked and everything like that, and they're fine, right? And that may be, and if so, that's great. Continue to build your union. I'm going to respect the union, but at the same time, I gotta talk about image, because image will kind of fuck up for the most part. It won't fuck up, but it will rattle some cages. You know what I'm saying? It will shake some shit up in your household. Allow me to explain. I don't know if y'all are aware of the history of Marjorie Harvey, but allow me to elaborate. Originally, she was dealing with a dude by the name of Jimmy Townsend back in the day. Jimmy Townsend was a known drug dealer. It's not a secret. This was in Memphis. Memphis is like the South version of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. He's a drug dealer. I won't say he was, he's still around. And when they were together, you know, he got locked up and they were coming for her. She was going to get locked up with him. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, he ended up taking a lot of the heat for what he was doing. And he ended up serving, I think he was serving a life sentence until like 2016 when Barack Obama pardoned him, right? It was part of the pardons that Barack Obama was giving out before he left office. While he was doing his bid, Marjorie ended up, linking up with Jimmy's cousin, right? Which we don't hear a lot about. But from that situation came a baby by the name of Lori Harvey. We all know us today as the Lori Harvey. You know what I'm saying? So apparently the cousin was also a drug dealer and a pimp, right? So she had a little bit of street, dealing with some dusties, right? Plus the fact that you went and moved on from one dude and started clapping up his cousin. You know what I'm saying? Started getting clapped up by his cousin. That's a little, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you. That's a little weird. And this ain't even alleged. You can look this up. You can find this out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you go from one dude, right? Then you dealing with his cousin. Then you dealing with Steve Harvey, who I remind you was married a couple times before this. He was married to, I think his first wife was Marsha Harvey. And then I think that went left. And then he went with Mary, who he then cheated on with Marjorie. I don't know what it is with M names, but maybe that's the thing that you gotta type. You know what I'm saying? So to be fair, both paths of both, both people were for the most part, a little bit crazy. Between you going from marriage to marriage and you going from family member to family member, one was surmised they were made for this. They were made to be together. And I'm all for good love. Love who you love. This life ain't guaranteed, neither is love. Right? So, keeping the past in mind and keeping in mind the image, when a situation like that came out, I want to ask you something. King Talk fam, I want to ask you this. When this rumor first came out, right? And you seen it, on your screens or on your pods or wherever you get your news from. How many of you guys at first glance was like, damn, that shit is crazy and believe that shit? I know I did. You wanna know why I did? It's because of your past. See, the problem with people, right, is that people think that even though what you did is what you did, even though what you did is what you did in your past, the problem with people is that they don't think that shit could track in your present and or future. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, it damn sure can. You know what I'm saying? Even if it may not be true. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you were capable of doing this stuff before makes it liable for you to potentially do it again. Right? And for people to believe that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? With her past, right? From her jumping from one dude to his cousin to another family member, right? One could really surmise that she clap up people close, in close proximity. So when you find out, when you see a story saying, "Oh, she cheated on with the bodyguard and the chef," Marjorie want 400 million. You're like, "Oh, damn, that's crazy." But she did used to sleep with homie's cousin back in the day, so this may not be OD far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? Even though it may not be true, it may be, people will potentially lean it as such because you've done it before. You know what I'm saying? If you don't believe me, I'll give you another example. There once was a man named CM Punk. In Chicago, they call him Pepsi Phil. And basically, for those who don't know, CM Punk is one of the most polarizing wrestlers of this generation, right? Originally was at Ring of Honor, started out at Ring of Honor with some banging matches with Samoa Joe, then moved on to the WWE version of ECW. You know what I'm saying? Killed that, then got to the main roster, killed that, had one of the longest reigns, and had one of the longest reigns at the time in WWE history, right? So, you was really, for the most part, he was really doing his thing. Unfortunately, backstage issues caused things to be a little bit different, caused things to be a little bit hectic, and as such, he had to get up out of there. So you don't, after that whole debacle with the whole backstage issues with CM Punk, McMahon family, and all that other shit, right? Goes away for 6-7 years, then comes back to AEW, starts wrestling there, and then the backstage issues happen again. And then you beefing with the owner, you fighting wrestlers in the back. You know what I'm saying? You get suspended. You come back, bring the belt back. Real World Championship. People are expecting it, giving, oh shit, CM Punk's back. Everything's great. Last week it was all in, right? And once again, he gets into a fight with another wrestler. Chokes him out. Put that nigga to sleep, right? I think it was Luke Perry's son. Jungle Boy. And that happened, right? He ends up getting suspended. But then, what happens next? You hear all these other stories. Oh, CM Punk and Rusev fought, and they beefing now. Oh, CM Punk fought this dude. They beefing now. Oh, he fought the Duke of Yorkshire. He smacked the shit out of him, and then took a shit on his chest. You know what I'm saying? And the fucked up part about it is, niggas believe that shit. You want to know why they believe that shit? Because in your past, you're known to be figuratively taking shits on niggas' chests and saying "fuck you." That's what your MO was. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was for you. So when people hear these bum ass rumors, and I ain't gonna hold you, some of them, a lot of them, well, I'll say a lot of them was wild shaky. You understand? People believe the shit because that's what you presented. That was your image. Yeah, you were one of the longest reigning WWE champions of all time until Roman Reigns came through. You feel me? But you were still doing trash shit. Yeah, you Steve Harvey's wife, and you supposed to be respectable because Steve Harvey told you so. But back in the day, we not gonna act like you wasn't fucking homie's cousin and had 2 kids by the nigga. That was your past. So yeah, when somebody says they drop Shade, when Shade Room drops, oh, she was clapping up the bodyguard and the chef. I'm like, well, shit, that may be logical. She did clap homie cousin while homie was locked up. So this can't be that far-fetched. That can't be out of the realm of possibility. And if somebody told me any different, that's cap. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you've shown us. People don't understand. You could sit there and, tell people all you want. Oh, I'm different. I'm doing different things now. I'm being a better me. But if you're still doing the trash ass shit you did from 2015 and expect niggas to sit there and change up, bro, that's a you problem. Because that's who you were. And if you're not showing certain things to show an effective change in your behavior, people are going to think, hey, this is who you are when they hear these crazy rumors because you've done this before. Who's to say you wouldn't do it again? You did it before. You know what I'm saying? Your husband, of course your husband's going to defend you. That's your husband. If my wife did some fucked up shit, I got to defend it because she's my wife. But I'm going to tell her when I get home, like, babe, you fucked up for that. You know what I'm saying? You fucked up for that. Nobody asked you to do that shit. But you did it, and that's wrong. You should go apologize. And now she got a decision to make. Are you gonna go apologize to them people? Or are you just gonna be petty and just not apologize? You know what I'm saying? So of course Steve Harvey gonna have to defend that because, bro, that's his family. He adopted her kids. Of course he's gonna defend that. If you really want to find out the truth, somebody needs to be talking to the bodyguard, and somebody needs to be talking to the chef. And if they come out and say, "Hey, yo, yeah, I clapped up Marjorie. She tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios." You feel me? Like, and the chef come back in another DJ platform and tell him like, "Yeah, Shorty, I clapped up Marjorie too. Her ass fat as fuck." You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, well, damn, that's fucked up. The bodyguard and the chef came out and both said they clapped you up. Steve, what do you got to say about this? You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody could be lying. You know what I'm saying? But right now, the main point of this whole episode, basically, the overarching theme for this episode is image. Niggas gotta start protecting their image a lot better than what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And if that involves bringing Shane back, then fuck it, you need to bring Shane back. Some of y'all motherfuckers need to get Shane for your past. Because maybe that might help for a better future. But if it doesn't, you're going to have the family feuding. And last I checked, nobody wins when the family feuds. I should have put that shit on. I should have put the family feud board as my cover too. I ain't going to hold you. That probably would have been a better look. What's done is done. And that is the season 4 premiere of King Talk. You already know what it is. It's your man's Aaron Sands. You can follow me on Instagram, Aaron Sands Premiere. You can follow me on the Gracious Good Pods and the mighty, let's try, at King Talk Sands. Follow me there. Check out all the stuff we've been posting up over there. It's crazy. I'm also getting back on the Reels game, so you already know what time it is. You feel me? Also, check out season 7 premiere of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. We big up the bros here too. I think that's coming, during Labor Day weekend, Sunday or Labor Day weekend. But check that out. Real good content that the homie Ken's pushing out. And also support this podcast as well, because he's also the executive producer of King Talk. We coming back next week with it. We talking more shit. We calling these people out, giving these life lessons. If you keep liking it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. The more you keep liking it, the more I'm gonna keep coming. You know what I'm saying? But until then, it's your man's Aaron Sands, and we are out of here. Yeah.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Aaron Sands, and I know you're enjoying this episode of King Talk right now, but I want to dive in a little bit and talk about the Premier Boys podcast. You got me, Aaron Sands, Ken the Gentleman, the homie Roddy Rod, and long live the Chief Mally Mal, all in the building, talking about the hottest entertainment topics, the hottest news topics, and giving our own take on what's going on out here in these streets. It can get raunchy. It could get crazy. You might even be talking about somebody's mama. Who knows? But every Wednesday at midnight, check us out on Apple Good Pods. Don't forget to drop that 5-star rating and all wherever else you hear your podcast. Now back to the show, man.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, your host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast and 1/4 of the Premier Boy Podcast. And you are now listening to my brother Aaron King Talk Sands show, King Talk with Aaron Sands.